chaos, something hours of sweat on my back's got my shirt soaked and sour, and oh, it's already gone. Second night's coming and I'm spinning back around. We're all caught up, can't hear or feel the sound, and oh, it's already gone. And here comes the feeling when you don't got nothing, and all you want to do is get up and start running. You can't hide long cause you know it's gonna start up again. Here's one thing that I know for certain, is life's too short to be worrying about you hurting for long. Oh, it's already gone. Got time but money's not something that's free. Seems the roll of the dice never rolls back to me. And oh, it's already gone. A bird in my hand, two cans in the other, start spinning around. Now here comes another, and oh, it's already gone. And here comes the feeling when you don't got nothing, and all you want to do is get up and start running. You can't hide long cause you know it's gonna start up again. Here's one thing that I know for certain, is life's too short to be worried about you hurting for long. Oh, it's already gone. And all you want to do is get up and start running. You can't hide long cause you know it's gonna start up again. Here's one thing that I know for certain, is life's too short to be worried about you hurting for long. Well, it's already gone. Already gone. It's already gone. Go.
What is up, Jags fans? Here we are on a Friday night. What else are you going to do with your weekend besides hang out here and talk about the best team in the NFL? I mean, I'm talking firing on all cylinders. This team just looks great. You know what I mean? So lucky for us, we get to go in and play the Patriots, who also have one win. So the battle of the one-win teams. I can't imagine being a fan of any other team and waking up at 9:30 a.m. to watch the 1-5 Jags and the 1-5 Patriots. But I'll be up and you guys will be up. And we're going to take a look at the film, and we're going to take a look at see what the Patriots have done, specifically with Drake May and their defense and what they do there, and what the Jags will have to do to win. And some of you don't even want the Jags to win, but I do. So we're going to get into all of that. Before I bring in our special guest, make sure to follow everything in the video description, like the video, subscribe to the video, all that jazz. You know how it goes. We're on YouTube Live. We're on Twitter Live. We're on Instagram Live. We're like all things live. So make sure to jump in to one of those few platforms and show some love there. So without further ado, let's bring in our favorite person on earth, number one in our hearts, number one Jags media, number one Jags writer, all of that. Travis Holmes. Travis, how's it going?
Man, why they got you out here on a Friday and not lying to these people? Number one, everything. Okay, if I'm,
Hey, number
man,
one.
I'm not the number one everything in my own house, bro. But I appreciate it.
Yeah, you better start thinking higher of yourself because that's how we think of you. So you better start getting this.
That's what, no. I got you. That's what keeps me hungry. It keeps
Okay.
me hungry knowing that I am not number one in anything, and that's gonna keep me trying to grind to be that number one.
Playing the humble card, typical
Yeah.
Travis. We'll take it. We'll take it here. Before we get into the comments and the Jags and all of that, Travis, how's everything going? How's everything going in life? Are you doing good? How are you doing?
Hey man, I got to see some of my favorite people in life today. Man, I'm doing good. I know they're not watching because they're not sports people, but I love them. They love me because we love each other as people, not because of what we do. I got to hang out with them, and it was a great day, man. I took a half day, went to lunch with some friends, and just caught up. And hanging out with the people you love, it just it gives you a renewal on life. I kind of appreciated it. It was dope.
It's nice to be reminded that, like, at the end of the day, when we all die, when you're on your deathbed, I hope you're not thinking about the Jaguars, and I hope you're not thinking about the London game against the Patriots. I hope you're thinking about the time that you spent with your loved ones and your family. So that's a good reminder for everybody.
I hear you with the positiveness, but I don't care what you say. But if I die tomorrow, Jaguars, y'all better ride for me. Y'all better win that next game. You better give me something. You better send a pin to my wife, something, man. Come on.
Well, let's hope you don't die tomorrow. But it is a nice reminder to, reach out to the people that you love. In fact, let's take a second here before we get started. Everyone that's in the chat, and somehow, I don't know how this has happened. We're 6 minutes in, 5 minutes of actual talking, and there's already 61 people watching. I don't know how that. I think it's called Travis. But to all the 61 people here, if someone came across your mind of a loved one you haven't talked to in a while, pause the stream, exit out, and text them like, hey, thinking about you. Just do that right now because that's going to make you happier than listening and talking about the Jags. You can always rewatch us. You can always, and maybe you do a phone call. You can always come back and watch us. You can always jump back in the stream, but take a second because it really is good to keep things in perspective. And maybe it's because the Jaguars are so bad. It makes me thinking existentially about life because they're just so bad. So take a second and do that.
So thank you, Jacksonville. So thank you, Shad Khan, for you reprioritize all of Duval County. Great job, man.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. Order of events. I'm excited about this. I'm gonna fly through some comments. I'm gonna get Travis's thoughts about last game because we haven't talked since the Bears game.
Okay.
And then we're gonna play a game with Travis. And this game is called Who's Worse, the Jags or the Patriots? I'm not going to tell him what the game yet, but that's the title of the game. Okay, so just sit back and buckle up. Let's fly through some of these comments here. Andres says, what's up, boys? He's the first one in the chat. We always shout out the first person in the chat. Appreciate you being here. Jaggernaut says, hey, what's up, Jags United? Not much. The weekend started for me. I was working until literally like 30 minutes ago. Funny, quick. Listen, the Jags suck. Okay, we can tell some personal stories, right? So, one of the things that I do is I'm a commissioner of an athletic conference, right? And so we have our playoffs coming up next week, right? And so there's like 15 teams in the conference. The top 8 make the playoffs. In one of the schools. So I've been emailing all week. I put out everything. I send out the brackets today. Like, here's the brackets for the tournament. One of the schools is like, hey, like our record's wrong. And I was like, okay. And they're like, oh no, we actually have like one more win than you have us with. And I was like, you realize you have had 3 months to update these standings. Like they update them themselves. Like, I was like, you've had 3 months to check on this, and you're choosing tonight after I'm sitting the brackets out to say that they're wrong. She's like, yeah, and I was like, I'm sorry. You've had 3 months. Like, I am not going back. Like, I'm sorry. And so I was dealing with that. My mind was, I was like, and it's a new school to the conference, so this is a lesson for them to learn. Check the standings, update it accurately. Not my problem. So I don't know how I got on that, but that's what's up with me.
Sorry. I'm sorry for your loss of
like
brain cells. I don't know.
I'm sorry that you didn't put in the standings correctly and you had 3 months to check them. Like, this is not my – I can't be at every single game. I depend on you to put your standings in correctly.
That
How
is
am I
fair.
mad about non-Jaguar stuff already? I don't know.
No. That's good. It's good to get the other stuff off your chest because the Jaguars
right.
gonna be bad. We've been bad for decades. That's gonna be bad tomorrow. Like, it's fine.
You're right. That's a good point. Nolly Full Cap's a channel member. He spams the Blake Bortles emojis. You can't see him on here, but on YouTube you can see him. Robbie Santos says, "Yay, another episode." DJ M says, "Jason Tan, the Duval dive."
That's me.
I know
that was before we started.
Okay. Robbie, Travis says London Bridge is falling down. Robbie Sanders says, "I think this week is truly do or die for Peterson." What do you think, Travis?
I think it is. I think
if they lose, is he fired?
I think Doug's known that for a while, and I think he's fired either way. I just think it's whether or not it's this week or whether or not it's the end of the season. But
yeah, good point. I like that. So you do think that if they lose, he's fired?
I do believe that.
Yeah, I do too. DJM, I hope Drake May goes off.
I understand why.
Yeah.
I can't even say I'm there, but I'm kind of there. So
do you think the Patriots fans are hoping for losses like that?
Oh no, I've done 2 Patriots podcasts this week. They are not. They are high as can be right now, because Drake, their entire future right now is based on Drake May. So they were probably like losses. Let me say it that way. They like losses as long as these are high flying losses with at least 21 plus points. But they need Drake to succeed because they got rid of Bill Belichick, and their defense is not looking like it used to look. Like they're just not playing as well as they used to play. And the new DC, new GM, like first time head coach. First time GM, first time head coach. New DC, which I believe is also a first time DC, and the offensive coordinator hasn't called offensive plays in, I don't know if they said it was 10 years. It was a long time, basically. So I'm like, everything across the board says Drake May has to be good. So no, they are not betting for wins. They really, he's their Trevor Lawrence, and it has to work basically. So yeah, they're hoping for that.
Okay, or should I say Duval or die? That's a good one. I can't wait to go 1-6. Lonesome Nai says, watch party is at the Ramona Flea Market, Lane Avenue, and Lonesome. We've told you we don't want to go to Lane Avenue and Ramona Boulevard. I live at the beach intentionally to stay away from that side of town. Okay.
I don't understand what's wrong with the flea market, sir.
It's scary over there, Lane Avenue and Ramona Boulevard.
It's scary to who?
To me. Scary to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm fine with this. That's home.
Yeah. We don't have the same badges, Travis. We don't. All right. We can't. All right. It is what it is. All right.
You can get an honorary, man. You can get an honorary pass to the picnic. Come on, bro.
DJ M says, then once we are clean the effing house and trade for Bill Belichick, then we go 11-6. Quickly, would you take Bill Belichick as a head coach?
No.
Yeah, I mean, I would.
He wouldn't come. He wouldn't come as just a head coach.
Would you be cool with him being GM and head coach?
No, that's the problem.
I would.
That's really what it comes down to. Like, I need him to just be. If he could just be a coach, that'd be fine. But he can't do it. It's a problem.
I get it. DJM ain't no party like a Duval party in London. I don't know about that. FSU losing to Duke. So, this is funny. I actually wanted to bring this up. I didn't know like when, but I guess it's perfect. So FSU did score after halftime. So it's like a 7-point game right now. We're crossing our fingers for a 2.5-point win by Duke. Just saying. But in the first half, FSU receivers are dropping the balls left and right. Perfectly thrown balls, they're dropping them. And the color commentator in the game mentioned that he said at this point, the drops have become mental. Like they're in their own heads, they're overthinking it, and they're dropping the ball. And it got me thinking, do you think the drops by the Jags have become a mental thing?
That's a hard one. That's a very interesting question, though, because I don't think that I've always been the person that said I thought the religious nature of the Jaguars drops has been because Trev earlier in his career, threw a lot of hard balls. May throw it like very hard when they were like 5 yards off the line of scrimmage. Like some of those numbers are just inflated because of him trying to figure that out, but also because of having a receiver room full of really bad receivers. And as they got a little better, then it was like a little mixture of both. All right, I get it. Now it's it's hard to say, man, because I don't know. But I don't think it's necessarily mental because like this last week, it was all in the fourth quarter for the most part. The all the drops other than the first one took place on that fourth quarter drive, and I'm like, So it may be mental, but if it is mental, it's because of them already being blown out by 18 plus points in the fourth quarter, just trying to get out of there.
Because I was thinking about it, and it's like, because I played a little receiver. I was a defensive player, but like as a freshman, I played wide receiver.
Yeah,
and I I didn't play enough or was good enough to be in this situation. But I was kind of thinking, like, if the whole team's dropping balls, and then the quarterback throws me a ball, I may be thinking like, don't drop it, don't drop it, don't drop it, don't drop it, and then I drop it. Whereas if like I'm not thinking and I'm just like react and play, I'll probably catch it. So, like, I do wonder if it has kind of seeped into, like, a mental part, because these guys are professionals. They've been catching footballs their entire lives. And now, like, even Gabe Davis. I know people don't like Gabe Davis, but Gabe Davis is a professional wide receiver. The dude doesn't go around dropping 2 touchdowns a game very often. So, to see him, well, okay, let me just finish. With him and Brian Thomas Jr. dropping balls, and I wonder if it's become like a mental thing for them. Like, I don't know.
I think we're putting a lot on guys. Like, we're putting stuff on guys to make it make sense when it doesn't have to make sense. And what I mean by that is because I had this conversation with, you know what? I don't remember the name. I'm going to get it wrong because I don't want to do that. On someone on Twitter earlier this week. And I basically said at that time, I'm like, no. Gabe Davis isn't this guy, he's this guy. And I'm like, I said this before they even signed it. I gave you these are the stats going back 3 years of who this guy is. And one of those things was drop rate. Like, his drop rate back in 2022 was like 6.5%. And I'm like, in the league. So like, he was a bad dropper then. He got better for one season, and now he's back to the same thing he was. Like, for over the course of his career, for the most part, other than last year, he's been this guy who drops about 6 to 6.5% of his passes. Cool. And you can go down the same line with Brian Thomas in college. He had a lot of drops too. Like, that was the thing, but it was a lot of those deeper passes. But that's not abnormal for the guys when you bring. If these are the guys when you're bringing them in, then you kind of have to expect these guys to have to go through something earlier in their time, or just maybe they may not improve at doing these things. And that's kind of what I'm trying to get at. So we're making the wholesale thing across everyone. And I'm just saying, well, maybe these guys who always were this thing and they're not getting better with the coaching.
And that'd be an indictment of the coaching, and it would make sense to kind of revert back to kind of who you are when things get tough, So that makes sense. That does make sense. A couple more comments here. Volkfang channel member says, T. Holmes. We're all happy T. Holmes is here. Volkfang goes on to say, what's up, fellas? Volkfang says, Bill the GM failed Bill the head coach. I don't think that he's what the Jags need to improve to a perennial Super Bowl contender.
That is it, Volkfang.
All right, Travis. So before we get into our game of who's worse, the Jags or the Patriots, give me your, I know you've written a lot. I know you've talked a lot. So give me a synopsis of the Jags Bears now that it's had time to settle. I know we've all moved on to the Patriots. That's fine. But like, we haven't heard from you. We haven't. I mean, I have, but we.
I was about to say,
collectively. Yeah. So just like sum up everything you've written and said. What went wrong? What was the issue? And is it correctable?
I almost flushed the Bears game from my mind, which I think is funny. That's like legitimately where my head is. So now I'm having to think back because I moved on to Patriots week. Lord, what went wrong in the Bears game? They were fine those first 2 series. When they were on script, they were dope. Everything was good, man. We were all dancing in the streets thinking this is going to be an easy little cake game. And then the Jaguars realized, oh wait, we shouldn't be winning. Like this is not how we. This is not what we do.
It's
We
not us.
don't play like clean football. No, no, no. Let me drop a few. Let me drop a touchdown here. Let me bog down in the red zone. And the Bears said, "Oh wait, they're letting us in this game. Let me go back to 11 personnel, one tight end, one running back, and let's go more 3 receiver sets, and let's figure out what they're going to do when we get into our up tempo hurry up offense, since we haven't been very successful in these first few drives." And quickly, the Jaguars got a few holding penalties in the defensive secondary, both by Ronald Darby. Then we had a third penalty. Like we basically just helped them put together that whole drive, that first drive when they scored the first touchdown. And it was like, oh, okay, we got problems. Like, oh, because now we know, and the Bears also know, we can't guard them man on man, and that's what Ryan Nielsen wants to do. I mean, we've known that all year long. And once the Bears realized we can't guard them man on man, and the Jaguars coaching staff realized we can't guard them man on man, everything was kind of just herky jerky at that point from on the defensive side of the ball. Like, if you can't run the thing that you want to run, then what do you do? So they started playing a lot of cover 2, a little bit of cover 6, but a lot more zone, basically, a lot less like true cover 1, a lot less cover 3 even. And it just became that kind of thing that we're playing something like against the Bills. Same thing against the Bills on defense. When we realize we can't do the thing that we want to do, oh crap, it's over. Like they can do whatever they want to do on offense at that point, because we just don't have it, and they know we don't have an answer, because the Jaguars don't want to play zone, and they don't want to religiously be a team that's playing zone. And with Tyson Campbell out, they didn't have much of a choice, because Ronald Darby's not the greatest right now. I'm just going to call a spade a spade. He's just not at playing man to man. And the defensive line isn't able to give a good enough pass rush that's going to like put these guys under pressure. Meanwhile, they don't want to blitz. The Jaguars coaching staff, they've never wanted to blitz, even in Atlanta. They don't want to blitz like that. So you're kind of just stuck with this philosophical thing. This is who we are. Ryan Nielsen says, I know who I am. This is who I am. I don't want to do these other things. And meanwhile, on the offensive side of the line, side of the ball for the Jaguars, you got a team that's solid at running the ball, but don't really want to run it. You want this game to be on Trevor's shoulders.
This is something that's been eating at me. And you kind of brought it up in what you just said. And I'd like to get your opinion, because I don't know the answer. And I have a theory. It doesn't sound like it's a sound theory, and it wouldn't make sense, but it's the only explanation I can have for this. But why is it that when defensive coordinators come to Jacksonville, we've seen it now 2 years in a row with Mike Caldwell and Ryan Nielsen, we see them run stuff completely different at their former teams, and then they come to Jacksonville and they run something completely different. I remember breaking down I have a Ryan Nielsen film breakdown on my channel. You can go back and watch, where I have clipped plays that Ryan Nielsen did in Atlanta that we have not seen one time here in Jacksonville. They went odd man front at times. They ran nickel blitzes at least 2 or 3 times a game in Atlanta. They did all sorts of creative things in Atlanta. Mike Caldwell, when he was with Tampa, the way he ran that defense with stunting D linemen, blitzing linebackers through the gaps where the D linemen vacated, you never see that here in Jacksonville. So why is it that these D coordinators, both now Mike Caldwell and now we see with Ryan Nielsen, are running completely different defenses than they did at their last place?
I appreciate the fact that you asked this question. I also know you know the answer, but I appreciate you giving me that alley-oop.
Okay, so if you're going to say personnel, because that's where I was at first. I was at personnel at first, but like at some point, like, all right, let's at least try it with our personnel, but they're not even trying it with this personnel.
Well, it depends on it's 2 different conversations for 2 different guys. So Mike Caldwell was different. It's going to be way different than Nielsen's situation, because Nielsen's situation is I literally taking over a defense that was a 3-4 defense that almost exclusively ran zone, or like over 90% zone, to a 4-3. I'm changing it to a 4-3 defense that's supposed to be running about 75+% man. That's going to have some headaches. That was built to have headaches. Like we knew that was going to be an interesting like change, and we were hoping that the Jaguars' offense was going to be able to carry them while they kind of figure it out early in the season. That's not happening on offense, and it sure as hell ain't happening on defense. Like that's not. I don't blame them for that because that was how this was set up personnel wise. So that's why I say Nielsen's different. Because we walked into the season knowing there might be some headaches in the secondary. We just knew that walking into it, and we hoped the defensive line was going to be good enough to figure it out. So now you got Nielsen and Richard over here trying to figure out how to make this work when they don't even have the guys who they thought they would have in the offseason even to make it work, because you haven't had Tyson for most of these games even to even, like I was saying earlier, to even run the man you want to run.
Isn't he the only
But
one?
they never had depth in the secondary. We knew that up front. We were, most Jags fans were stressing, sweating. Week one, man, maybe we can trade for Lattimore, or maybe we can do this, because we knew we only had the one main corner was Tyson Campbell, and we were just hoping that Darby would that Band-Aid would just stay on long enough to cover that sore spot that we knew existed. And it didn't, because Tyson ended up getting hurt like early, or he actually got hurt in the offseason, got healthier, then got hurt immediately when the season starts. So like, we knew that walking in. So I kind of feel bad for Nielsen in that way, because in Atlanta, he had a great corner. He had a great safety. He had a great nose tackle. Like, he had a great person at most levels of the defense. And he just hasn't had that here to even scheme around, because that's what it always was. He was scheming his defense around these guys who existed, and he hasn't had most of the guys who even on the field here right now so far. So it kind of just sucks for him to be able to do what he wants to do. Mike Caldwell, on the other hand, that's different. That I did feel like was personnel. It wasn't that the guys weren't good that he had, but it's not the guys that he would want for his defense. You got Trent Baalke drafting guys in his image for a defense in someone else's image. Does that make sense?
It does.
You know what I mean? Like, you got Trent drafting the best team that he thinks he can draft with the best traits that he prefers. To be clear, these are traits that Trent Baalke prefers. These long arms, these strong, dominant forces, and sometimes that's great for your defense, Trent, if you were coaching. But that's not great for my defense that I'm running as a defensive coordinator over here trying to get these sacks. And they couldn't get pressure internally. They couldn't barely even get enough pressure from the DNs last year. So that's why I say there are different issues for different coordinators across the board. But a lot of it still points back to Trent at the end of the day in roster construction.
But why are we not seeing a single nickel blitz? Like a single one?
Yeah. I do have questions on like why even when they're playing the zone, why aren't they blitzing more like from the nickel? Why aren't they blitzing more from the dime coverages? That's not a lot. We haven't seen a lot of that, but at the same time, they're struggling to guard people just lining up. Like, they're legitimately struggling to guard just lining up, and that's where I'm kind of lost. Like, maybe they're scared of blitzing at this point because they can't even do the basics. If you're struggling walking and chewing gum, then damn it, stop chewing gum. Like, that's kind of where we are right now.
Yeah, but wouldn't I don't
know.
Wouldn't getting pressure on the quarterback help your coverage?
Actually, I do agree with you. Especially last week against Caleb. Like, we talked about this a week ago, I guess, yeah. That I thought the best way the Jaguars was going to win is by pressing these receivers, pressuring the quarterback, keeping him under pressure, because we've shown that when he gets time, he's actually pretty solid. And it's probably going to be the same thing against Drake May, honestly.
Yeah.
If you give him time, you give any quarterback the ability to be comfortable, they're going to make you pay for it. And I think the same thing existed last week. So to your point, yes, maybe they should have blitzed, but that's not who Ryan generally is. He's a good timely blitzer, sure, on third downs and those key moments, but he's not a big blitzer all across the board. That's not who he wants to be.
I'm at a lot. I thought because again, I went through this whole mind experiment in my head, and I thought maybe is there a chance that Doug Peterson's like, this is what we're gonna do? Like, is there a chance that Doug Peterson's come in and been like, hey, we're gonna play bend but don't break. You can play your defense. I'm telling you, man. Like, I don't know, man. If I'm the head coach and my job is on the line, I have no problem going to the DC and be like, this is what I need you to do.
But the DC is also going to get fired if it don't work.
Exactly. But he doesn't get hired by Doug unless he does what Doug. I don't know.
If you believe the rumors that Trent Baalke is actually the one who hired him and not Doug, that's a whole nother thing.
I don't know
Hey
what to
man,
do
I
with
don't.
that.
I didn't hear that until 2 weeks ago, and now I've heard it everywhere. So I don't know what to think of that one.
It's rumors. I don't know. I mean, I've heard that too, but
Right?
like,
They've said, well, like they said that Doug hired Mike, and that was his opportunity. And when that failed, and he's going to have to hire a new coach, they were like, well, I guess this is Trent's turn. And I'm like, is that really? That's a hard one to believe, but it's
I,
Jacksonville, bro.
yeah,
Like who?
I've heard so many rumors. I don't even know what to.
Yeah,
Q
somebody. Yeah,
Revere.
Shanley just says I heard a rumor of Jason for EVP. There
No,
we
I want to
go.
do this one first. What's it like working a job you can take half a day?
What do you mean? Like a lot of people can work jobs that they can take a half a day.
So they're
Heck,
just
am I?
they're just asking. They're not
I
saying that a lot
mean,
of people don't do it. They're just asking what's it
it
like.
feels great, man. It feels great. My sister, so my whole family have jobs where we can do this kind of thing. My sister, she works in Jacksonville at a place. I'm not y'all people crazy, so I ain't trying to say names of companies. But no, she can do her job like at the salon. Multiple days, I'll talk to her randomly, and she'll just be at the mall. She'll be at the salon. She can do it where anywhere she has internet and a phone. That's dope. Brother's the same way. Like he travels, and as long as I have an internet connection, we can get this thing done. Me, my schedule's flexible. I can do this thing at 2 o'clock in the morning. As long as I can get them 4 to 5 hours to get this work done, nobody cares. Nobody's breathing down my neck, man. It's great to be treated like an adult. But a lot of these jobs treat people like kids, man. That's why they be unhappy. And I love jobs that treat me like an adult and let's just get this thing done.
That's all they're asking is what's it like? What's it like?
Yeah, man. So it feels good.
It feels good. Jason, what changes would you make with management and who would you get to fill those roles? And I'll admittedly say, like, I'm not someone that's like scoured the NFL organizations to know who are good
Yeah.
at being who is an assistant GM that would I'll admit to you guys, I don't know. And like, even if I
Yeah.
thought I knew, I probably wouldn't be right. So I'm not sure what I would do with the management is I would clean house. I would, and just like, I would get rid of Trent Baalke. I'd bring in a guy who, me personally, I wouldn't bring in a young guy who hasn't proven it at GM. I would bring in a guy who has done it with some success. But that's just me personally. Cause like now, if we were blowing up the entire team, if we were blowing up quarterback, if we were blowing up everything, then maybe I'd be more inclined to bring in a young guy and see if he can prove it. But because we have a lot of pieces in place, I would bring in a guy who's like proven that he can build a roster. And that's the reason why I would do it. Just because we are stuck with Trevor for a while. And so I would bring in someone that has proven that they can bring pieces in around a quarterback. I've been harping for months that I think they got lucky with Brian Thomas Jr. Can you imagine if they didn't hit on Brian Thomas Jr.? And I've been saying, I was like, this receiving core, I'm looking at the top three. I'm like, this is not a top three receiving core at any level. Bringing in Gabe Davis as your two, he wasn't even the two in Buffalo. And so, and like, well, yeah, we have Evan Ingram, and then, Parker Washington's coming up. Like, I don't want that. I want depth. The Bills just traded for Amari Cooper. Like, that's what your GM has to do. My team's good. Let's bring in a really good receiver. Our really good receiver is Christian Kirk. It's like, I would bring in a guy who is like willing to sell out for the quarterback. And and whoever that person is, that's who I would bring in. What about you? What would you do?
So this is fun. Because a lot of guys don't pay attention to the assistants, the director of player personnels, the scouting guys that are out there. So it's a lot harder to kind of figure out who the guys are, or the next up and coming hot name. Like everybody kind of wants Ray Agnew because they just like what the Detroit Lions are doing, and they're just hoping that Ray's the assistant GM over at the Detroit Lions. So everybody's just like, yeah, grab the next guy from Detroit. Let's just build this thing over here, and maybe you can get Ben Johnson. That's going to be the hot name this cycle. I've talked to 2 agents this week. One that's a very big agent. If I said the name of the firm, like you of the agency, you know who I'm talking about, and they are doing some serious work because it seems to be a known that, well, at least in the agency world, I should say, it seems to be a known that Trent's supposed to be out of the door. I don't know if I believe it, but that's what they believe. And that's why they're kind of putting this full steam ahead kind of thing in the Jacksonville market that, hey, but maybe it might be one of these coaches that work for us. Let's put these names out there. So they're out there willingly giving names like, hey, this is a guy you need to be looking out for. This is the guy. So earlier this week, I put out a list of guys. Hey, there's Ed Dodds, the coach assistant GM. There's Ian Cunningham, the Bears assistant GM. And I know everybody's like, the Bears? Well, no. This is a guy who was with the Bears, but also with the Ravens, also with the Eagles before that. Like, this is a guy who played in the NFL and kind of made his way up the ranks. Locked On Jaguars had a whole episode that kind of talked about Ian earlier this week. And I'm just like, okay, so there's a few guys that are out there. Joe Ortiz, the Ravens director of player personnel. Like, there's a lot of guys who take a look at the whole thread. I got like 9 director of player personnel's, assistant GMs, etc. VP of player personnel's out there on Travis D. Holmes on Twitter. It's still going to be an ongoing conversation that we're going to have all season to freaking unfortunately talk about. Hopefully it'll be worth the conversation if they actually do fire Trent, but we'll see. To your point, you wanted a guy who's already established and done it, but then that's going to be a list of this long. Honestly, who's done it well.
Right.
I don't know who. Like, I don't know who all you're really talking about at that point. Like, there's like going to be a list of like 1 or 2 names, best case scenario. Otherwise, you're going to be going with one of these young guys and just hoping to pair them with a really good coach and hopefully a good OC and kind of keep their thing moving.
I mean, you're right. I mean, you're spot on there. I heard rumors of Jason for EVP. I wish they would hire me. Now, listen.
Hey man, hire me on your team, bro. I'll be your McMittens.
I'll even throw him a deal here. Like, you give me like 10 grand more than I'm making now, and I'm in. I'll stop the YouTube. I'm a sellout, Travis. I know you don't want to believe it. I'm a sellout.
I'm on it. That's why I'll be your manager. I have an accounting degree for a reason, and I do taxes. No, I'll let me handle the money. Give him $1 million extra of what he's asking for, and we'll take 10,000 off that so he can keep his YouTube going. How about that?
That's true. Hey, listen, it's I'm not good. And I'll be honest with you guys. Like, in my job, because like I own a business with this conference, I have a really good job. And even with YouTube, I'll tell you right now, administrative work is my weak spot. I'm a charismatic, I'm a fundraiser, and I get shit done. But when it comes to bookkeeping and when it comes to that's like, I can admit that though. Like, that is my weakness. You got to know your strengthts though. You got to know your strengths.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
And
you got to hire the right person. That's all.
Exactly. So, yes, if they just bring me on as an advisor. Bring me on as an advisor. Because I'm telling you, like, and listen, I'm not trying to say that these guys don't watch film. They watch way more film than me. But the implementation of the film is where I'm kind of seeing a problem, because like, we do these preview shows, which we haven't shown a single clip, but whatever. I don't care. But like, we haven't shown a single clip. We do film breakdowns, and I'm sitting here telling them what's happening. And like, there's no way that they're implementing the film properly. Like, for example, the Patriots, I completely expect to go no huddle at some point between the second quarter and the third quarter. Why would you not? Like, the Jags obviously cannot defend no huddle. So go out there, because now Ryan Nielsen can't hockey shift his D-line. You catch a D-line out there without Josh Hines-Allen and Trevon Walker, no huddle. No huddle. Let's go. Let's see him. Let's see this happen. And like, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to get into that, but whatever.
You don't want to give too much away, but you are spitting right now.
I don't care. Maybe they'll hire me. I heard the rumor that Balky hiring Nielsen from Pete Prisco.
Oh, so Pete said it too. Then okay, cool. There you go.
Yeah, I actually did hear that too. Ian Cunningham all day for GM. I don't like this team, but I did like the stream. Very, very well said, Console Jaguar. Very well. I mean, go ahead and just hit a thumbs up button. I know you guys all follow Travis, but if you don't, please do. And then go a step beyond following Travis. Like, actually, like, quit being a lazy degenerate and like read his articles. And like, because nobody wants to read anymore. I mean, obviously they do, because they read your stuff. But like, when I say everybody, I mean like a large majority. Like, take some time and read Travis's articles. Travis is I said at the beginning of the show, he's the best out there. He's absolutely the best out there. I just like am waiting for Travis to big time me here in the future and be like, hey, I got a 1010 XL gig tonight. I can't come on in Jaguars United. And I'll say, hey, Travis, good for you.
I would never schedule a 1010 XL gig or an ESPN gig or whoever else on a Friday.
Chat, clip that right now. Clip that right now.
I've been on ESPN. I've been on 1010 5-6 times. And then you see, I've never done them on a Friday because I know I got plans. It's on my calendar.
If I were ESPN or 1010, yeah, I would do what I had to do to get you on. So, but again, I guess I don't know. Travis's opinion on a certain somebody not allowing a certain football team in the playoff bracket because of a little delay in the standings update. Okay.
Wait a minute.
This is going back to my dilemma with the team who I didn't let in the playoffs because of they didn't update their standings. Did I do the right thing there?
Yeah, I don't see the problem. I'm an a-hole. I'm sorry. I'm the nicest a-hole you will ever meet because I joke about everything, but I'm always halfway serious, and you don't know which time I'm actually halfway serious. And I'm fully in agreement with you, and that's the a-hole part of me coming out when I say, no, it's on them. That's on them. That's personal responsibility, baby. We won't got enough of that in the U.S.
And just for a little more context, that'll reinforce what we're both saying is like multiple times throughout the fall season, I reached out to this AD and said, please update your standings. So it wasn't like I just like threw it on them. They were expected to do it. It was like I tried to be like, hey, update your standings and make sure they're accurate. So I don't have any bad ill will toward it because I actually did more than I was supposed to. And the cherry on top, our preseason AD meeting on Zoom, not even in person, on Zoom, this AD was not in attendance. So I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. It's horrible. Yeah.
I
feel bad for the kids.
See the problem.
I feel bad for the kids because I'm like, these kids are like playing. They're like, and like, there's eight spots in the playoffs. So
these kids are out there cursing you right now.
They're not. They shouldn't be cursing me. They should not be.
No. They will be cursing you because there's no way this AD is going to be like, I screwed up, y'all.
Yeah,
they're going to be like, no, they screwed up. They had a typo or something. Nobody's putting that on you.
And also they would have been the last seed in the playoffs on like a tiebreaker, and they would have played the first seed in the first round and gotten waxed. So it doesn't really matter because that number one seed is a juggernaut. So
it's rough. Okay.
Yeah. If anything, I saved them from a little embarrassment there.
Okay.
Which Jaguars are untouchable besides T-Law? Even a clean house situation. I'll let you go first here.
Untouchables. I mean, you have the obvious. I mean, nearly everyone who just got a recent extension almost has to be untouchable just because of the dead cap and everything else. So you got to
because Roy Robertson Harris got an extension like last year and he got traded.
An extension is not this. His is different, I guess, because you still are going to eat some dead cap on that. Yeah, that's fair. But it's not like a big money contract. It wasn't top of the line. Like you're talking like Tyson Campbell's top of the, we'll say top 5 of the market at the time, kind of a contract. Yeah, that's not, you ain't getting rid of that for a while, bro. So you're talking T-Law, you're talking Tyson Campbell, you're probably talking, well, no, probably about it. You're talking Hines Allen. You're talking Trevon Walker.
Yep.
And I know I shouldn't be an untouchable because he's on a rookie contract, but let's be real, man. That man's getting extended. That man's getting extended. Yeah, that's it. I mean, I know it might be a hot take, but I don't know that I don't know that Anton's an untouchable right now. His O-line plays bad across the league, so that might give you the edge, and he's been playing better after those first few games, but I don't know that it's just I don't know that the book is slammed down and that's a questionable one. That might be it. I don't know. Is there anyone else I'm missing?
That's it. I got Anton on my untouchable list as well. I mean, I guess if we're talking technicalities, Cam Little is probably untouchable. I know, but he's just on the list.
Maybe Ezra. He's been playing good since he's no longer injured last year. Maybe Ezra.
He did have 2 pretty disgusting plays last week. He did.
Did he?
Yes.
Do we have them? No.
I was hoping you weren't going to ask for that.
I mean, because I didn't see it, so now I got questions.
I do. No, I do. All right, you ready? You ready for this?
Two disgusting
I
things
saved these
plays by
clips because
Ezra.
I saved these clips because I knew that this might come up. I
Oh,
did.
good stuff, man. I
All
love
right.
it.
All right. We all know where Ezra Cleveland is. Off to circle him, right?
Yep.
All right.
To anybody
Play
who
one.
doesn't know, he's on the bottom left guard who just got beat immediately. Lord. On the right.
Okay, there's one. There's one. There's one. And then here's two. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, listen, I'm with you. I think I like Ezra. He's been playing good. He threw Bigsby into the end zone, but it's not like he's been amazing. Is all I'm gonna say.
I would like to amend my answer.
What about
He's
Tank Bigsby?
good.
Is Tank Bigsby untouchable right now?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I'm a fan of Tank. I mean, you've seen how often I've written about him, how often I've been raving for them to give him more opportunity to prove to me that he deserves to be untouchable. I think he's slowly but surely done everything that they've asked him to do when they've asked him to do it, but they haven't given him enough carries to make me feel comfortable that he doesn't truly have a fumbling problem. Because that's how I always am. I'm always the prove it guy. I need you to prove it to me on the field. I need to give him more opportunities to prove it. So that's just kind of where I am. I'm borderline. If they can give him more carries and show me that he's not going to fumble the ball or have it punched out at the 1 yard line or whatever else, then I'll feel a little better.
What about Brandon McManus? Is he untouchable?
Oh, Dove. Wow. Logan Cook.
No.
Cook. I know. He's definitely touchable. Yeah.
I think Brandon McManus is a little touchable. I mean, we would need to go any deeper than that. But
I know they said the lawsuit got resolved, and then everybody started commenting in the threads on all the different socials about how the ladies need to be taken to jail. And I'm like, bro, do y'all not understand what resolve means? Resolve don't mean that the ladies was lying, but it also don't mean they weren't lying. Like the resolve can simply mean dismissed lawsuit, or it can mean they got the claim settled by payment. We don't know because we won't know because there'll be an NDA signed anyway. So nobody will truly know the truth around that. But the lawsuit being dismissed does not mean anyone lied. It does not mean anything was truly admitted. It's just kind of is what it is. That's the way of the world.
I'm just gonna say he's probably touchable. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, let's play a game.
Everybody's touchable at a party.
We're 47 minutes in, show no film. And you know what? I don't care.
No. We showed two plays, two great plays. Two great plays. Let's go.
We're going to play a little game with Travis. This game is called Who's Worse, the Jags or the Patriots? All right. All right. You ready for this? All right.
Yeah.
So Travis was not prepped on this at all, but I don't think he'll need to be. So we're just gonna go stat category. I have some kind of loaded up, and I'm intentionally kind of mixing in some different things here just to throw you off a bit. All right. So if I were to ask you, which team total across all their quarterbacks has more completions, the Patriots or the Jags?
Jags.
The Jags.
Right?
Yep. The Jags. 100%.
And I just realized I never said BTJ was untouchable, but yes, obviously.
Yes, you're right. You're right. We did not
forgot about that.
You're right.
It just hit me.
All right. Yards across all quarterbacks, Jags or Patriots?
I still think Jags.
Yep, Jags. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Okay. Who's thrown more interceptions across all quarterbacks, Jags or the Patriots?
I'm going to go with the Jags.
Trick question. They both have thrown 3. So they're tied. Very good. Very good.
Jacoby Brissett. I know Jacoby Brissett don't throw a lot, so that was a harder one.
Yeah. No. That was pretty good there. All right, let's move on to the running backs. More rushing yards across all the running backs, the Patriots or the Jags?
Easily the Patriots.
The Patriots. Very good. Very
good. Yeah, man. They were balling those first 2 weeks.
Yep. Okay. All right. Higher average per rush, the Jags or the Patriots?
Oh, the Jags.
The Jags. Very good.
Thank you, Tank Bisbee.
Very good.
8 yards a carry. That's going to do it.
Very good. All right, more rushing touchdowns across across running backs and quarterbacks. Patriots or the Jags?
I gotta think the Patriots, right? Am I mistaken?
The Patriots have
Wrong.
3. The Jags have 4.
Dang.
Yep.
All
All
right.
right. More fumbles across running backs. Jags or Patriots?
Fumbles lost or fumbles?
Fumbles.
You don't know? Or just fumbles?
No, I had to check. I had to check because they're different. They're different.
All right.
Fumbles total. Fumbles total.
Fumbles total. Oh, wait. I got to go to Patriots.
The Jags. In
The
fact,
Jags have more fumbles total?
the Patriots have fumbled 3 times. The Jags have fumbled 7 times.
So the Patriots have lost more fumbles, but the Jaguars have fumbled more times. Is that fair?
The Jags,
because I know
the Jags only lost 1 fumble. The Patriots
right.
2 fumbles.
That's it. Because Ramonde keeps getting benched because he keeps fumbling the ball. So that's why I assumed the Patriots.
Yep. All right, moving on to receiving. Okay, now this one will be a little too easy, so I had to kind of change it up a little bit here. All right.
Okay.
More receiving yards across the top 3 receivers. The Jags or the Patriots?
I mean, I got to go to Jags.
The Jags, very good. Very good.
Okay.
More touchdowns across the top 3 receivers. The Jags or the Patriots?
Still the Jags.
The Jags, very good. Very good. All right, yards after catch across the top 3 receivers. The Jags.
That's got to be the Patriots.
The Patriots, very good.
That's got to be the Patriots.
Very good. You're doing pretty good here, Travis. You're doing pretty good.
Come on, man.
You're doing pretty good. All right, moving on to the defense. Okay, moving on to the defense. All right, top total tackles. Which team has the player with the most total tackles, Jags or the Patriots?
Patriots.
It's the Jags. Raekwon McMillan with 35 total tackles. Your boy Monteric Brown with 44 tackles.
I'm thinking linebackers and oh, wow. Yeah. I would have never guessed Monteric.
Monteric Brown.
Wow.
All right. More passes defended across all defensive players, the Jags or the Patriots?
Patriots.
Trick question. It's a tie. 23 for each. 23 for each.
Hey, why are you trying to get me? We're trying to get me with the ties.
Oh,
okay.
I know. All right, more interceptions as a defense, the Patriots or the Jags?
I mean, it's got to be the Patriots. The Jags has 1, right?
The Jags have 1. The Patriots have 3. Three. Very good.
We don't do interceptions. Come on, man.
We do not interceptions. All right, last question.
Okay.
More points by field goal kicker. Jags or the Patriots?
Patriots.
Patriots with 35. The Patriots with 35. The Jags with 41. 41.
Dang.
Yeah. 6 more points.
Well,
2 more field goals from Cam Little.
Great job,
bonus
Cam.
Points. Who is the Patriots kicker?
I have no idea.
Former Jaguar great Joey Sly is the Patriots kicker. Former Jaguar great.
Yeah, former Jaguar for a day. Wasn't it even a day?
It was more than a day because he was actually on the list of Trent Baalke's offseason signings.
It might have been a few days, but I mean, it was quick. It was a quick transition. I just don't remember how quick it was. I thought it was hilarious that it happened. He didn't make the end of the week. How about that?
Well, you had the whole McManus thing, then you had the Sly signing, then you had the Cam Little draft thing. It was quite the offseason for Jaguars kickers. It was quite the offseason. All right, so
that's not bad.
I think this is a good time to move into some Patriots film. What do you think about that?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so where should I start here? So many options. Actually, I actually did want to start with this, and that has really nothing to do with the Patriots. It kind of does because it was against the Patriots, but can you imagine? This is the Texans offense, and the only reason why I clipped this is because I watched this play, and I was thinking of Slowick, and I was like, can you imagine defending this play? Okay, all right. I want to draw your attention to I don't want that. Sorry, this is from last stream. Sorry. Draw your attention to this part of the field. Okay. All right. Imagine defending this play. I'm gonna play it through once, then I'm gonna play it back. All right.
Okay.
Now, if only Press Taylor had this type of play concept in his bag. I mean,
Nice.
beautiful. You
That
have
is so nice.
you have a corner route from the 3. You have a post route from the 2. Then you have a delayed pick play from the tight end, which creates an entire pre-snap motion to the running back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my goodness.
So you got your zone beater to the left, you got your man beater to the right. You can take a quick 1-2 step, figure out whichever they're playing, and you know exactly where you're going with the ball.
This man could be a head coach. This play right here. I watched this play and I was trying to, because I always put my mind on the defensive coordinator, and I was like, the only way that you stop this play is if you call a hard cover 2 with the corner here. And who does that on the 10-yard line?
On the goal line. And even if you do call a hard cover 2 right there, you're going to stretch the heck out of that corner for that corner route. Like, you're going to give him all the space in the world. And that's basically still man-on-man with that safety. Oh, and you can only call cover 2 to the bottom, not a cover 2 across the board, because then you'll still be screwed at the top of the screen, because that corner is not going to be looking to that backside post route that's coming across.
This is a great play.
It really is.
Absolute. I mean, I got to give credit where credit's due. I mean, I hate the Texans, but my goodness, what a play. Why don't we have these types of play calls in the red zone? I don't get it.
Because we have our playbook the whole year, and this is what it's going to be. Whereas it seems like these guys are like actually scheming individual teams.
I mean, this is just. I mean, now the only way, another way you could do it is like really rare defensive coordinators will just play like a spacing. You know what I mean? To where like I've actually kind of come around to this like lately. Is like instead of playing like a defense or playing what the offense is doing, you play where to the open field is. And so the open field is obviously over here, right? So pre-snap, I know the hashes are tight in the NFL, but pre-snap, you have someone for middle of the field, deep middle, and then flat, because that's where you're at. But like, how do you call that besides a hard cover 2?
Well, I mean, the main problem is the fact that as the offensive coordinator, you're calling that this defense is going to play man backside on this backside trips, because that's most defenses' answer. No, the short side of the field. They're calling man to that backside receiver, especially when you give a look that's basically going to equal quads to the bottom, quads towards the field. So he's expecting that to happen, which is why that post route to the backside of the field is just a freaking dagger, because it is a true problem. How do you stop that if you know you're not going to have help backside? You can just outrun the coverage. And that's the issue right now, man. Like, it stresses the defense so well. But so you'd have to say, I'm not going to put man on that backside corner. I'm actually just going to call maybe a cover 6 and have that, that backside corner.
So I was thinking cover 6, right? If you drop him to the halves, him to the flats, you drop him to the quarter, you drop him to the quarter, him to the flat. Middle.
So then I was thinking through the pros and cons of that, because then you're still wasting 2 guys to cover essentially where you only expect 1 guy to be at the top, and there's no win there either. Like there's pros and cons on all of this, man.
Yeah, there is, and not even mention if they do an inside zone, you're done. So, but what a play call!
It really was. It's nice. That's why these guys get paid too. Sometimes people get pissed off when But what do you do? If you run zone, they're going to have the numbers. If you run most zones, the offense is going to have the numbers because they line up in freaking quads, and they actually ran routes with all 4 guys on that side of the field with the spacing of the field.
I love that.
It's nice.
I love that play. All right, one guy who I think is going to kill us is Demario Douglas. I'm a big Demario Douglas fan. I think if he was on any other team, he would be like a household name. I really do.
Really?
I think he actually runs this from the 2 receiver spot, I believe. And I think he just kind of does a little jog and then just whips out to the flat here.
Okay. Boom. Oh, nice little.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
And
what was
then
that pivot route?
Yeah. I mean, that's
Boom. That's nice.
that is nice. And then watch this run after the catch.
They tried to push him out of bounds, and this is the one there. He tries to push him out of bounds, and he ends up like getting another 10 yards out of it.
Yep. I mean, this is
Also,
Demario Douglas
May was
is a
high.
dog now. I'm telling you
Yeah,
right now,
May
Demario
was
Douglas
high
is
in
a
this
dog.
game though. Also, dude, like he was high on a lot of throws this game, which I thought was weird. And he said he was like excited earlier in the game, and that he calmed down later. But I thought he was high through the whole game, like on almost all of his passes.
He was, and he had a pretty bad interception that I'll show here in a second. But what kind of stood out to me more than like how, because obviously the game was pretty lopsided, it was a 20-point loss. But
Yeah.
what stood out to me was more like the average starting yard line for the Patriots was always like in the Patriots zone. Like whether it was a punt return for a lot of yards or an interception, it just the Texans were just always going 50 yards for a touchdown. And it like that just kind of put the Patriots behind a lot, which is what bad teams do. I'm not trying to like say like that they got unlucky, but that did. Here's the
They had a lot of turnover. I mean, what was it? Three turnovers this game?
Yeah. I mean, here's the Drake May interception, which he had the guy open. It was just a bad throw. I think it's a drag route from the 2, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he had him. He just missed him. Yeah, you're right. High. And when you look at from the end zone, the throw was actually like pretty close, but in the NFL, you can't be pretty close. You got to be spot on.
Well, this is what May did in college, though. Like this is, that's not a knock on him, but that's what they said he needed to work on. You can't miss high in the NFL.
Yeah, because I mean he had him open. Poor Hunter Henry, dude. He's in purgatory. Yeah, that ain't gonna work.
But again, even if you look at the highlights of all the catches that were made, even then it was those guys that they were always going up high and getting it. Like even when they're open, and it's just they're having to climb the ladder and bring it down, or it's just like one of those stretching and they barely bring it in kind of things.
Here's another interception, or no, this is an interception by the Patriots defense. Very lucky, but it happened. This is Marque Mapu tipped to Marcus Jones.
Nice.
Yeah, in the end zone. Loved seeing that.
The ball because he was beat.
That's a bad throw. Yeah. Look at it from the end zone here.
Boom. Nice play, man. I love some good secondary play.
Yeah. Oh, me too. And Marque Mapu is actually the backup safety in the game here. So they do have some injuries in the secondary. I mean, they're pretty banged up. Ramondre Stevenson's supposed to be playing this week, which is not good for us.
Which I was shocked. Yes, as soon as he said that, I was like, "Oh, well, damn, this might be over."
Yeah.
It sucks to say because I still think the Jaguars are going to be a lot better on defense if Tyson truly does play, and we should know that in the next 24 hours. We should know whether or not they're going to be activating him from IR, which sounds like they will, but. Yeah, and I think the Jaguars defense will be a lot better just because of him, and that stinks. It shouldn't just be one guy, but it kind of is right now.
Yeah, right.
And there's also the rumblings on whether or not Montaric Brown is going to be the starting corner instead of the cornerback 2 instead of Ronald Darby, and I hope that's true. But
I don't think you see that at kickoff, but. Could it happen in the game? Maybe, but I don't think at kickoff. I think they play Ronald Darby, but that's just my opinion. I don't know.
That's just the words. That's just the words around the streets.
Yeah. With Ryan Nielsen, God knows who's starting and who's not because he's going to play everyone equal amount of snaps. So
I was going to say, God knows who if it matters.
Yeah, it doesn't matter at all. Kayshon Boutte, who we all liked out of LSU.
Boutte
makes a good play here, and this is actually kind of a good throw. This is the throw I was going to show earlier.
That was a nice one.
Yeah, that was a nice one. I mean, this is like cover one. My guy's going to beat your guy. Throw's got to be on. I'm going to make the catch.
And that's what May did. And that's one of the things. Like if he's good at one thing, he is good at going deep. Yeah. And that is the one thing. If you are a Jacksonville Jaguar fan, it should probably make you sweat. You want Monteric, love Monteric, but he's had a few opportunities on these deep balls, getting beat off the line of scrimmage. Ronald Darby, like Darby, but if he has opportunities, is getting these getting beat deep down the sideline on these deep balls. And not to mention, we have a safety in Andre Sisco who's been beat across the head this season so far on these deep balls. So if Drake is only good at one thing and is going deep, then that's the one thing I don't want to see him being successful at, and he kind of might be.
Yeah. Here's what else May can do. Kind of underrated part of his game. Again, we have a 1 game sample size, but he actually is pretty good at getting out of the pocket and like picking up yards. I mean, it looks ugly. It looks ugly. It does not look good, but some quarterbacks make it look ugly and still do it effectively. And he's actually is that guy.
He's Tim Tebow in the NFL. He's just one of those guys. He gets the yards, but they don't got to look pretty.
They don't. I mean, here he is doing it again. This is like actually 2 plays later. This isn't even like later in the game. This is like 2 plays later. He's like, oh, nobody there. Let me just pick up what I can here. So I don't think he's going to kill us with it, but it's there. It's there.
Okay.
Well, I guess we'll finish off with the Patriots offense here. It's not good. Here's one here. Their tackles aren't very good. But then again, the Bears tackles weren't very good. And
that's true. They were having a rough go of it those few weeks before that. And then we were just quiet. But they've also had like injuries. I think their left tackle is actually out this game too.
Yeah. They started the game with a different left tackle than who's here. But that was the right tackle who got beat. And that was Will Anderson. That Will Anderson's pretty good. I will say.
So if anything, our edges are at least close to comparable to the Texans' edges. Our interior D line is another conversation, but our edges are pretty close as far as pressures and sacks. So I feel like that we should be fine to be able to put that same kind of pressure on them. Whether or not Drake May is going to run the ball is the whole other conversation to your original point, because we are giving up around that 40-yard mark per game to quarterbacks on the ground. Weird, but it's kind of
pathetic. It really is. I don't know if this is. I thought I had. Oh yeah, So here it is again.
20 yards.
Will Anderson again.
Josh Allen 44.
Not Will Anderson, but same tackle. Right tackle gets beat again. So, I mean, they are weak there. Maybe Travon Walker. But again, I'm hesitant to say Travon Walker's going to have a good week because I said that last week when I watched the Bears right tackle give up sack after sack after sack. And then. Yeah.
He gave up 4 sacks when he was pressured. I believe it was 4 sacks. There you go. I actually have it right here. 8 for 15 for 81 yards, an interception, and 4 sacks. When pressured versus Houston in my notes. But they showed a lot of phantom pressure, which we haven't been doing much of. What you were talking about early, we haven't been doing much of it. But again, maybe just praying. Maybe if Tyson's back, they feel like they can run more man defense, and maybe they do show more phantom pressure, and we can actually do some of the things that we did in Atlanta. Because otherwise, this defense is just a wraps. Just bring in the trailers, bring in the concrete, turn this thing into a parking lot. It's over.
I remember going through the Falcons film, and it was a week 1, play 1. They send their nickel on a blitz, and I was like, "Oh hell yes, dude! Like let's go, dude. We are solid." And then you saw it every once in a while sprinkled in. You saw a lot of Mike blitzes, a lot of Will blitzes, and then Jags don't blitz at all. And it's just like, I know we've already talked about this, but it's like, I know we're not good in the secondary, but at least try. Like, just try something here. Like,
well, the last guy got fired for always trying something, and it was a lot of zone and a lot of blitzes out of those zones, and a lot of getting burnt in the secondary from these miscommunications, doing these blitzes with zone behind it. And now we have a coach who feels like he doesn't have a choice but to play zone because he didn't have the personnel to do it. And now do you want to add blitzes to that? Basically, you just I may as well start calling Ryan Nielsen White Mike at this point. Like, 'cause that's where we are.
I mean, run man behind it. Send your nickel on a blitz, walk down Savage, and play. I mean, there's ways.
He doesn't want to run man because they don't got the men to run man.
But if you get pressure on the quarterback, I see what you're
I got
saying,
you.
but it's like at least try it. Just try.
I got you.
You know, can't hurt. Can't hurt. Randy Connolly says trade Darby. Robbie Sanders says I'd take Monteric over Darby any day. Darby looks pretty bad. I mean, you said it earlier. I mean,
yeah.
We were like earlier in the year, we're like, man, I hope he stays injury free. I mean, I don't want him to be injured.
Yeah.
But if he's not on the field, I mean, might be okay with that. I mean, he's not tackling either. It's like, all right, like Monteric, like he's not covering great, but he's tackling great. Darby's
a physical guy. Yeah.
Darby's doing neither. So we hired Urban Meyer to a 5-year deal. If we're still paying him, maybe we swap back.
Oh, but they fired him for calls, so that ended up having to be settled. You'll never know. You'll never know what that ended up being because when you fire someone for calls, and he had a lot of calls. Lord knows he did. Then you kind of just figure out what that is between the attorneys, and they kind of just wipe their hands of all of it. So he didn't get that full 5 years. There's no way he did. But
listen, we're late in the stream, so I can say this, and I don't think many people will see it. Off the field, Urban Meyer.
I've always said if the Jaguars today could hire Urban Meyer to be a virtual scout, I'm all for it, bro. Keep him as far away from the actual players and the team as possible. But if you can hire that man virtually to do the work, come on, man. Yeah, you can stay in the Ohio bar you need to. Just keep drafting these players.
I mean, kicking the kicker, that's pretty funny. I'm sorry. Like that's something my friends would do. Well, your friends aren't NFL head coaches. Yeah, you're right. Okay, but you can't get me to hate on that. Staying behind with the team to be in Ohio, being seen at the bar with a young hottie.
All these things sound fine. If you're a college player, if you're a college coach, it's probably going to be problematic. Well, it's going to be funny, but it's going to be problematic. And if he was winning, nobody would have cared. Can we be clear about this? Let's be real clear about this. If Urban Meyer was coaching the Jacksonville Jaguars at an 8-3 record, and he doesn't get on that plane in Ohio, you think this is going to be a big thing?
Exactly.
You think this is going to be? You think folks are going crazy about this?
Exactly,
or if Urban Meyer has an NLPA investigation for kicking the kicker, but them boys are 9-1. Who's talking about this? They're gonna be trying to settle this thing under the cover. Hey man, y'all just stop talking about this media. Y'all gonna be blaming the media for talking about this, spreading this narrative. Because while we ruining our favorite, y'all ain't like that man because he was sorry. Y'all ain't like that man because he was sorry at his job, and that's what it was. And y'all needed him out the paint, and they gave y'all the reason to hate on him.
That's so well said. That's what I've been trying to say since he was fired. Like, listen, I'm not saying what he did was right or anything like that.
Right, it wasn't right.
But
people do not write stuff all the time, and we love him as long as we win, and we'll cheer for a dude that just, but probably not that. I almost said something bad. Yeah, we'll cheer for people that do a lot of bad things as long as they do it with the right colors.
Right, exactly. Very, very well said. Very well said. DJM says I miss Urban. Like I said, I don't care. I don't like you just said, Travis. I don't care what you do off the field. If you win, the NFL is a results-based league. I don't care what you do off. I don't care. Look. I mean, everyone. Look at what.
It's the results. Yeah.
The only person in sports that I can't understand how. I can only think of one person in all of sports, even every major sport, who has been ostracized.
Yeah.
Is Trevor Bauer, the pitcher. I don't know if you know much about his situation, but was accused of doing things, ended up being exonerated, and he's in the Mexican League, dominating. And for some reason, nobody will give him another chance. He is an asshole, but look at anyone else ever. If you're a good athlete or a good coach or whatever, no one cares about what you do in your personal life. Like,
Right.
so
Some of the greats, I mean, just greats are just terrible people, just
yeah,
dreadfully bad people,
yeah,
and we're fine with it because, well, whatever. We're great at compartmentalizing people when it's like, oh well, he was the home run, champion of whatever century or whatever this is. Like we're fine doing that, but then if it's somebody we dislike, ooh boy,
yep,
now we come on,
yep,
man,
you're right.
we ain't being 100% about this.
Guy gives $5 in the super chat. Thank you, Guy. I
Nice.
appreciate it. He says, I'm not mad. I'm disappointed.
Disappointed. Yeah,
That's the worst thing you could hear from your
that's
parents.
the worst. That's the worst. I was just thinking that's that mama phrase right there, man. I ain't mad. I'm disappointed. Oh, jeez.
I remember
right.
one time in my young days, I used to dabble in the greenery. We'll just leave it that way. Okay. Not anymore. Not anymore. I've grown out of it. But when I was young, I was like living with my parents. And like one night I like threw it in my clothes hamper because I was like had to run out of the house real quick.
Wow.
Buried it under my clothes in my clothes hamper. Ran out the door. Came back home that night, go through the clothes hamper. It's not there. And I'm like, oh no. Oh no. And so I'm like, oh gosh. And then like a few minutes later, my parents come in, my mom, and she's like, hey, I was gonna do your laundry. First of all, hasn't done my laundry in years. Okay. Hasn't done my laundry in years, but she decides tonight she's gonna do my laundry. And by the way, my clothes were not gone. My dirty clothes were still in the hamper. So laundry was not done that night. Okay?
I mean, you ruined that opportunity, sir.
And she's like, and we found something. We're not mad, we're disappointed. And I was like, oh god.
Yeah, that's rough, bro. You remember that one. Nah, man, just yell at me, slap me, spank me,
Yeah,
do something, but don't
seriously,
tell
like,
me that.
beat me, but like, oh man, that's what comes to mind with that. Thank you, Guy, for the $5. That was not good. Being raunchy in a bar in broad daylight and at your bar. I feel like it was at night.
Mean,
I think it was.
I was about to say, if you can't be raunchy at your bar, where can you be raunchy? I'm gonna be around my folk. I ain't gonna do it around strangers.
That's true. That's a good point.
Come on, Timmy Devil, you gotta get on this, baby.
He was just misunderstood. I'm not.
Yeah,
y'all
misunderstood the dynamics of our marriage. We do what we do. Y'all stop putting y'all judgments on what we do over here. And that's fair.
I can't even put some of these comments up here. I'm not.
Some of these comments are problematic. On get you sued.
I haven't grown out of it. That's okay. I'm not saying it's like something you grow out of. It's just like, for me, I wasn't as productive as a person, and that's just me. That's just me. I know people that are very productive, and I wish I was like that, but I'm not. Will want to play Call of Duty and eat Doritos. That's me. Me. So. You got to learn.
You don't like your mom, and you don't like your mom being disappointed in you.
She was very disappointed. Yeah, I couldn't do that. All right, a couple more plays here, and then we'll wrap it up here. This is something the Jags might be able to do because we are going to probably try to run the ball. If you block it up right, you can. Oof. Now, the Jags will never run this little like. I think pre-snap, they bring a guy in that's like an F back. Yeah, like right here. The Jags will never do that.
Yeah, that was nice because, we don't really have...
We don't have any blocking
great
schemes.
Blocking.
Yeah.
That means.
But if we did, or Tank Bigsby will just, break a tackle line of scrimmage and get a run off. So,
if we were great at calling great running schemes, that'd be awesome.
I like that. That's a great little trap block here. I like that.
I want to be real, though. We do try to do some of this stuff. We're just not good at it.
Have you seen one trap block this year? I haven't seen one trap block this year.
I've seen 2 in one game earlier this season. It might have been Miami. We're not good at it. But we've tried. We're not good at it. But we've tried.
I would trap block the hell out of people, man. I'd run the wing tee. Try and stop me.
Our problem is not that we don't trap block. Our problem is when we trap block, we get blown up. So this guy who just got hit by this defensive lineman, he's going to be 2 yards farther in the backfield, and you're going to be like, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing nothing no more. Like, that's what it comes down to. We'll have a guy looking like Calvin Ridley out there trying to block this defensive lineman and just flying like pinballing all over the place. That's what happens normally.
That's a good point. That's actually a good point. That's actually, I'll give you that one. Okay. Here's the Patriots getting exotic. You know, if only, I know this is hard to believe. If only there was some way to bring extra pressure from a defensive back that's on the field near the line. Like, I don't know what you call that. Like if you had a nickel and you brought him, I don't know what you'd call that, but it seems to work for some teams.
It's something like I don't know.
I can't think of a good word for it. When you blitz your nickel,
like a blizzard.
I can't think of a good word for it. But apparently it works.
Flurry. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Works.
I don't know. I mean, it's seems exotic to our defense, but apparently if you do it, you can get some sacks.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know. Weird. Incredibly weird. So
this
don't know. Not sure what that's called.
But no, I've said it a few times this week, and this is truly what I feel about this game. These are two bad teams who I still honestly can't tell you who they truly are 7 weeks into the season, on kind of in two ways, because of injuries, but also because we had a general feeling of what each team was going to be, and neither one really looks like what you thought it was going to be. Like the first 2 weeks of the season, this Patriots team looked dominant, especially how they played defense, how they were able to run the ball with both running backs and just kind of control the whole line of scrimmage and control the clock. And then they've had injuries up on the offensive line, and now you don't know what they're going to be week by week, depending on their injury situation. They're getting their running back now, so it's kind of like they may be a little bit better. They may be better at controlling the ball if they can control the line of scrimmage, but the offensive line is still a question mark. Meanwhile, you got the Jaguars, who freaking they're talented, but can't walk straight. Like can't walk without tripping over their own shoelaces. And what do you do with that? Like, how do you bet on a team that you don't even believe that they can just walk straight? So at the end of the day, I thought this was the Atlanta Falcons game from 2023. That's what I viewed this as. The Jaguars, you should be able to win this game by controlling the line of scrimmage and controlling the ball. Basically, if you show up and just play basic NFL football, you probably should win. And if you lose, well, it's a wrap. What are we talking about? If you can't just do the basics, if this is Jaguars versus Jaguars. If you can't win this game, you can't win any game on your schedule. What are we doing here, man?
We've been saying that every week, though.
But I haven't been saying that every week.
Every week we're better on paper. Oh, nice. My parlay hit. Let's go, boys. I had to check the. This is what I had. I had a 5-leg parlay. I had Stephen Kwan hit from the Guardians. I had Aaron Judge hit. I had a Giancarlo Stanton hit, and I had a Duke covering 3 points. I guess that was 4-leg. Hold on. I gotta check this.
I thought it was 5. Yeah.
Hold on. I know. We're talking Jags, but I gotta check this.
He's like, no. I want money. Y'all need to know. I understand.
I mean, if I hit a 5-leg parlay, things are looking good here.
Actually,
I got BYU beating Oklahoma State.
Yeah, your friend Big Game James Coleman. He hit a 12-leg parlay, I believe, the other day.
So I reached out to him. I was trying to get him on tonight. He said he's coaching high school football, and in 3 weeks, he'll be on in 3 weeks, is what he said. That's fair.
That's my guy.
That's fair. Yeah, so we'll have him on. All right, so we're an hour 23 in. We've shown all the plays. We've played who's worse with Travis, Jags or Patriots. So the real question.
So wait. The question is who's worse? Let me ask you, who's worse? We know individually who's worse, position by position and everything else, but now you gave me a quiz, your quiz. Who's worse? Who's the worst team right now, today, Sunday?
Are we including coaching?
We're including everything. A team's a team. Who's worse?
Patriots are better. Patriots are better. They are. Now, I think what might save the Jags this week is that they have been in London. Their time clock's adjusted. They're used to playing in London. Their coach is on the hot seat. But if Ramondre Stevenson wasn't playing, I'd say Jags win easily. But you kind of alluded to it earlier with Ramondre Stevenson playing. I can totally see the Patriots having the ball twice as long as the Jags, and it turning into a 14-17 game.
Yeah.
And I think the Jags win, but if you were like, hey, you're starting a franchise, you're giving these two teams, including the coaches, and I think that's the big issue because I do think that Gerard Mayo is a better coach than Doug Peterson. I mean, the Patriots are they're in total rebuild mode.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the Jags win, but who's worse? God knows. I don't know. What do you think?
I'm probably, if I have to take both of these teams with their current coaching staffs and current GMs, yeah, that's a problem. 'Cause I can't take Doug and Trent. I can't take that combination. At least I believe that the combination of Mayo and dang it, who is their GM? Their freaking first year GM. That guy, I can't even tell you his name. Like, I would have to have blind faith in Mayo and their GM over what I know I have, the devil I know in Doug and Trent right now, basically. And that's the kicker. At the end of the day, it's purely blind hope. But I do believe that the Patriots overall are better because I think that minimum they're better coached, and that goes a long ways.
It's Elliot. I agree with you 100%. It's Elliot Wolf who spent he spent 10 years with the Packers, 1 year with the Browns, and then the last 4 years with the Patriots.
Okay. I mean, don't love it, don't hate it. I'm fine with that. But no, at the end of the day, yeah. So I think that because I've been so back and forth on this, but for the most part, out of 3 of my 4 predictions, I've said the Patriots are going to win, and I'm going to stick with that one. The only one I said the Jaguars are going to win was when I was on the Patriots podcast because I just can't let them see me sweat.
I like that. I respect that.
Yeah.
I'm picking the Jags this game. Extremely low scoring. Cam Little is the top scorer. And I think I think the London advantage helps us, but
actually, you have the same top scorer than I have. I have Cam Little as the top scorer also, but I still have the Jaguars losing 20-17. And to your point, the Patriots having double, the time of possession, just kind of controlling the game, and Jaguars just not being able to do enough on offense because Jaguars.
Yeah, that's well said. That's well said.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before I let you get out of here.
Oh, no. Let's finish up these comments first, if you don't mind.
Some of them are kind of spicy.
I know, that's why we gotta skip the spicy one. Though. Again, don't get sued. But yeah.
Okay. All right. Ryan Nielsen's allergic to blitzes. Miles Jack was never down. Still not down to this day.
No.
I lost the band betting 2 this week.
Okay, yeah. You got money like that.
I've been on a cold streak. I think tonight could turn it around though. My assistant has been on an absolute heater, like ungodly.
Your assistant? Your assistant?
Yeah.
You have an assistant.
I have an assistant. He's been on a heater, and so I was like, all right. So like the last time he lost, I like tailed his. He does these like parlay. He hit one similar to James where he picked he hit like 10 money line for the NFL like last week, like picked 10 winners, and so he's been hitting every day. And then last time he lost, I tailed his bet. He like sent it to me and I bet it and we both lost. So I was like, all right, send me your bet. And cause you're winning. So I'm just going to bet what you bet. And I was like, but just so you know, if I tail you, it's bad luck. So he sends me his bet. I don't tail it because I wanted to test my theory. Cause I was like, all right, you know what? I'm not going to bet it. And then if he loses, it's not me. If he wins, it is me. And he lost. So it's not me. It's not me. I didn't lose it. But I'm about to hit. I mean, if BYU wins tonight, which they're supposed to, I just took straight money line. Then we're solid for tonight.
Nice.
Yeah, but you gotta be careful betting. You gotta be careful. It's some people get addicted. It's not.
Yes.
I'm addicted to a lot of things, but I actually have control over betting. Thank God. I don't know how, but
bet what you can lose. Bet responsibly. All the things that you know. Come on.
Yeah. Timmy Devil says this team has convulsions just thinking about walking and chewing gum. Randy Connolly says FSU can beat the Jags.
All right, calm down.
No, they couldn't. Armstead can't run block. Well, he's not a offensive player.
The best college team would get destroyed by the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
Or the Jaguars, whatever.
Yeah, they're both bad. Feed Gabe Davis. A new episode. I'm not reading that one because that one's kind of mean. Arik needs to change career paths. He's a good YouTuber, so I mean,
he's slow. He is. You haven't noticed? He's building that YouTube.
Yeah, good for him. Listen, I want all Jags to succeed. So, Miami grad, walk is you of Miami grad. If we dominate the Patriots and play well on both sides of the ball, do we start having a little hope for the season again?
Why? Sorry, I'm just calling a spade, man. I'm not here to pretend. I'm not here to make people feel better. Like the hope died with me a decade ago.
Yeah,
we having real conversations. If we win the next 2 games, then we can start having a conversation about maybe having renewed hope for a week, and that's a week by week situation. No.
If we beat the 32, if we beat the other worst team in football, us Panthers and them, we're all in this together. If we beat them, no, I don't have any hope for the season. I'm sorry.
Like we beat the Colts, man. No teams. It's so hard to lose every game in an NFL season, man. Winning the game does not make me think playoffs. Like winning a game just means you're not as bad as the worst of the worst on a week by week basis, and that's not to say you couldn't have lost against that same team if you played them the next week.
I will say though, I haven't said this to anybody, but I've thought about it. Glimmer of hope could be 2022. The Lions started 1-6.
I mean, we were similar. We were really similar. We were similar in 2022. I'm saying the Jaguars could absolutely go 8-3 to finish the season. Yes, that is possible. Why not?
Packers, Eagles, Vikings.
No. I'm not looking at this individual schedule. I'm saying that is a possibility. That is in a realm of possibilities because we've seen this same team be 8-3 and then go 1-5. We could see the same team go 1-5 and go 8-3. I'm simply saying that is a possibility in the range of outcomes. Do I believe it's going to happen? Hell no. I'm not crazy. I'm just saying that's possible to happen, but it's not likely for this team because we've seen this team play. And they're closer to the Dallas Cowboys than they are to the Chargers or the Chargers. No, sorry, the Chiefs or like who's doing the Texans.
Yeah, no hope here. No hope here. Jags would be better off just catching the football and holding on to the ball consistently.
The basic stuff. We've been saying that since 2022.
Yeah.
What does that mean? That's a bad team.
Yeah. I mean, and Isaiah knows what he's talking about. Isaiah's a good one. Yeah.
What you mean a good one?
Isaiah's a good one. So I had this show where I did, this was like at the beginning before the season started, and we did a life lesson show.
Yeah.
And I let people come on and like video talk, and everyone had to give a life lesson. And Isaiah Jones's life lesson was so good. And I was just like, it made me like level up my respect for him. I was like, all right, Isaiah. So now every time I see him comment, I think back to that. And I'm like, Isaiah's a good one. Like he's got great perception on life. And so I've always respected that about Isaiah. Yeah, it's a good show. It's actually the last show I've put up on my channel that it was live, but I clipped it and made it a video as well. Yeah. It's the last video I have on my channel that's not a live show. Go back and watch it.
Okay.
Yeah. Travis, what's the best outcome you can see this season for the Jags? Not win-lose record, but overall best outcome for the franchise.
I think we're seeing it. Honestly, and no. So I don't mean that as a joke. I everyone's going to swear I do, but the tweets are there. I would have to go through and find it, but the tweets are there. I said it then. The 2022 season, was my first season covering the Jaguars. I got to cover that miraculous season and playoff game and all. Like, I'm in the locker room after the Cowboys interception and all of this great stuff. I'm getting to see it like directly, and I said it then. Even on Cloud 9 as a Jacksonville Jaguars fan who's also covering the team. I said it to Kyle Nash sitting right next to me. Mia O'Brien sitting right here. I'm like, I think this is the worst thing for this team. And it sucked in because I knew it in the moment. I'm like, because you still got Trent. And I didn't know if Doug was going to truly be what it looked like he was at that time. And because we've seen in Philadelphia, it was a great offense. Then it was an offense, and then it was a bad offense. And we're seeing the same exact things here. And I was like, the best thing for this team was to get Trent out of the paint. I knew it. I've always thought that. I've been consistent in that thought process. And it stinks because now it raised that 2022 and all those late season comebacks and all those hurry up offenses. It raised the expectations for this team that they weren't ready for. They just weren't ready for those expectations. And they sat on their hands in that offseason, so proving that they weren't ready for those expectations, even in the front office. And yeah, so the best thing that can happen long term for the Jacksonville Jaguars to be a consistent winner is to get Trent Baalke out the paint, to get Doug out the paint, to clean house and actually build an organization cohesively from GM to coach together and actually build a good roster together. That hopefully will give us a long-term winner. So the best thing we can do is lose as many games as we possibly can lose while still having the talent that we do have on the roster and building around that. We have a higher floor now.
I knew that was going to be your answer before you even said it, which is great. I knew it, which is fine. You said it so eloquently. Very, very well done. Very well done. All right, 2 more for Travis. And then we got to wrap it up because I have to I have to attend to some Friday Night Matters.
Sound like a lady. Yeah, I got you.
But no rush, no rush. I do want because especially the second one, I want a good one out of you. All right, but the first one, Travis, did you hear anything about Roy Robertson Harris being anti-Doug?
Actually, no, I did not hear that. But then at the same time, is that like shocking? If I'm a football player, I'm anti everybody who's sorry. And I don't mean Doug is sorry. I mean, like, if this team is sorry and you coaching this team, then guess what? I'm anti you. I'm a millionaire and I can probably play for 17 different NFL teams realistically. And I am here losing. And I am a captain on my team. You know what? I'm anti you if I think you're not the answer. Like, I've been on the team with a coach that I didn't agree with. I played under George O'Leary at UCF, and I did not like the way that he did things. And it's not to say he was a bad coach. He was a very good 500 and above NFL football coach, former NFL coach for the Vikings. Like, cool. He's a good coach. But he did things in an old school way that I just didn't agree with, and I thought we can do it better in different ways, even when I was playing in college. I say that to say I didn't always agree with what he is, so that makes me anti him, and that's fine. If Roy Robertson Harris is an anti-Doug guy, can you say he's wrong? I mean, is he wrong is the question. Because do you believe in Doug is really the question that most of Duval County will today say no, they do not. That makes you anti-Doug too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm anti-Doug. I mean,
Roy Robertson Harris is one of us.
If I connect dots and he was captain, now he's not captain. He played into like week 3 of the preseason in the second half. You got a D coordinator who's rotating you out like a hockey shift. I said this on my last show.
Yeah.
Roy Robertson Harris was probably doing cartwheels when he got called into the office in London. And whatever whatever hotel they were staying at, when they say, hey, Roy, we need to talk to you, he was probably cartwheeling down the hall saying, thank God, get me out of this franchise as soon as possible. And he was probably the happiest person
right
on earth.
That's it, man.
All right, last question for you. I will say, Ashley Sullivan,
She was hot.
All right, last question. Travis.
Oh, yeah.
Give us a life
lessons. I like life lessons.
And listen, it's loaded, so I like to give you some time to think. But we gave a life lesson earlier, talking about how making sure you reach out to the ones that you love, and giving, because life is short, and at the end of the day, the Jags are the Jags. They're going to win. They're going to lose. You're up. You're down. At the end of the day, all you have is family and loved ones. And I know Travis has given us life lessons before, but people live and they experience things and things change. So in the moment right now, as of October 18th, almost 19th, what's a life lesson you want to give everybody?
I would probably go with something that works well for me. So if it works well for me, I would hope it works well for someone. People tell me all the time that my strength is my ability to figure out plans and to actually put them into action. In my way, I'm saying take a second to think about what it is you want to do in life. And I'm not, that could be career, that can be relationship, that can be whatever. But legitimately set real goals, real legitimate goals that have objective achievements, objective, endpoints, and figure out ways to put a process together to reach that goal. And that's not for everyone. Everyone, it doesn't have to be these huge things. It can be these little small milestones. But at the end of the day, if you continue doing that throughout your days, throughout your weeks, throughout your life, you're always going to be making progress and you're always going to be happy with the end result of whatever that looks like. And I do that with everything, man. And I'm not trying to tell you, hey, be like me. But no, people compliment me all the time about hey, man, putting these plans together and achieving these goals. That's your thing. That's what I do. And I think it works well for me. And I would hope that anyone listening can just be like, all right, cool. Now I need to stop playing around. It's been 2 years and I've been saying I want to be a manager, but I haven't actually put the work in or put a plan together to figure out what I need to do to get there. Or I want to get with this girl, but I haven't figured out what I need to do to get there, or, ask her out on this date or actually put the work in. Figure out whatever that thing that you need, man. Figure it out. Actually put some action items on paper, pen on paper, on the computer, whatever, and start the process, because you're never going to go anywhere. Just keep just doing and just hoping it works out. That's not how life works, man.
I mean, I love that, and that's actually inspiring to me. So I'm glad that you said that. And if no one in the chat took anything from that, I definitely took something from that. And that's why Travis is the best at what he does. We make no bones about it around here. Travis is the best at what he does, and he's reaching the pinnacle of what he wants to do. So I would listen to Travis, and I would want to be like Travis, and I do want to be like Travis. So don't sell yourself short. So that's very good. So Travis, since you haven't reached the pinnacle, but you're close and you're about to, and we can see trajectories. We know you're almost there. Since you are, what do you have coming up in the future? What do you have going on? What's coming out next? Where can people find you and all that?
Well, every week we have the Big Cat Country post-game write-up for Sunday in London. We'll have the all 22 breakdown if I can get enough time to just finish the article. I say that because this past week I actually got done during the article, and I literally ran out of time before our deadline to get it sent out. So I only sent out half of the article. So shout out to anybody who saw it, but was very disappointed that they didn't get the full article. That's the reason. I'm just giving you some behind the scenes. That's what happened, legit. But we will have it out this week. Also, any breaking news, like for instance, perhaps Tyson Campbell being, taken off of IR tomorrow, maybe that might happen. If that happens, then you'll see an article on BigCatCountry.com. So definitely save it as a favorite. And outside of that, just kind of whatever breaks, we're here for it because we got you, Big Cat Country. But follow me on Travis D Holmes on Twitter, on all the socials, and the Duval Dive will have our post-game recap on the Duval Dive on YouTube. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please do. We're approaching that 200 subscriber mark. It's been 3 months that we've had a channel, so we appreciate everybody who's been engaged, and hopefully we will earn that subscription.
I mean, I think you have, and people are just being lazy, and I'll call them out for it. You get an action plan together. Write down your action plan. I'm following everything Travis does, so do that. It's going to be good. Looking forward to this week's game. I'll be up bright and early at 9:30 a.m., barely awake, but I'll be awake watching the game. I'm
skipping church. I'm skipping church to watch these jokers, man. I hope they win, but we'll see.
I'm a Thursday night churchgoer, so I'm able, and it's tactical because that way I can watch all the football I need to watch. So that's my way around it there. So Travis, I appreciate you being on here. I appreciate all the people that were in the chat. We had people in here all night, which is awesome. I mean, this is a
Nice.
2-hour show. People are here all night. That's awesome. Guy gave $5. We had all kind of channel members in here. The comments keep it going. We're Jags fans. We like talking to other Jags fans, so we appreciate you guys being here. Make sure to follow everything in the video description. All of Travis's stuff is in the video description, so you don't even have to like search it or remember it. You can just click on it from the video description. It'll take you straight to all his stuff, and you can follow all of that there. Thank you guys for being here. I love you guys from the bottom of my heart. I can't wait to clip Travis's life lesson and make it my next video on YouTube because it's going to be awesome, and that's going to be my next video because it was so good. Appreciate you guys being here. We'll see you guys next week. And as always, go Jags.